Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where most is a measure not just of quality, but also of quantity. With the most tournament matches in 2023, and no small part contributing to his nickname, the final boss. I give you the most entertaining player in the world. It's Dark. Up against him, though, the Frenchman from Team Lek with the fastest Terran in the world, the Kid. It's Clem. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg. We've seen it before, and I'm sure we'll see it again. But I'm very excited to see what they have to bring to the table, because it feels like every single time it's something a little bit different. Look, already, Clem, not a Reaper Marine build, but instead, gonna start off with the 1-1-1. So, if you like seeing the same players, but maybe something a little bit different, almost every single day will be awesome. If you can also like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are 1,185 likes on this video, on this cast, on this finals, the ESL Cup, and I'll cast another series, and I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and it's Clem versus Dark, so I'm gonna be so bold as to assume it's gonna get at least a little bit better. Reaper being driven back by a queen intent on revenge. And starting things off, Clem not going for the mass Reaper build, but instead, wait, what do we have here? A later starport, 3 command center, second gas on the way. I do think the Reaper build is kind of played out. It's been figured out, especially by players like Dark. And it ends up putting you in kind of an awkward spot where it's very clear to the Zerg what you want to do. That doesn't necessarily mean they can stop it, as Marines and Medevacs are possibly the most efficient units in the entire game, especially for the cost, but it means they can definitely prepare for it. And Dark is certainly preparing something. He's got 3 gases on the way. He went for a gasless 3 base, so he's relying just on these ambitious queens here at the edge of the creep. Brenda, get back here. There might be cyclones. There's probably not cyclones. I don't... Sorry. I blacked out for a second. But Roachwarren is on the way as Dark goes back to the kind of seesaw build of mass drones into... Are you really doing this? Oh my god. Stand still. It's called friendly fire. Okay. Clem snipes off a tumor without detection. Master oncologist. And now 9 roaches on the way for Dark, as he has had enough of these Hellions poking and prodding at the edges here. Enough roaches to force Clem. I think almost everyone's building a Banshee against Dark nowadays, because he's back very much in the Roachwarren. It seems like he kind of goes back and forth between the Massling Bane and the roaches, but a real and present danger, especially if you don't open Cyclone. Thankfully for Clem, he's going to have Banshees, so should have more than enough to deal with the roaches, but this allows Dark... Look at the production tab. Look at it! Thank you. 9 drones on the way. The lair. Double Evo chamber. It's very clear what Dark is doing right now. Sends 3 roaches in, enough to kill the SCVs, and drag the army back without committing almost anything. Dark is now at 65 drones. Alright, he builds a couple spore crawlers to make sure that he has detection against this. But his economy gonna explode in the mid-game here. It's going to be the Dark Hammer build, where very likely maxed out 200 supply roaches. The question will be, does he go for the all-in version, where he just tries to end it immediately, or something a bit more conservative that gives him options for the late game? I think he's going to play a bit more long-winded style. He already has 70 drones, so you don't really go all-in with 70 drones. That's just called building units. Well, the Hellions may look to cut down on that count. Cloak Banshees continually annoying, and there's nothing to protect the drones at the 3rd. There's surprisingly few of them here. Splitting, spreading, and trying to minimize the damage. Then though, it takes out 10 out of 11. Dark replaces them with 15 more, as he ends with more than he started with. And Queens back to the main to deal with the Banshees. Annoying, but losing 14 drones at this stage of the game is but a blip on the economic charts as compared to much earlier on. Yeah, Clem with a few mules and a third base starting mining will catch up economically, but I'm sure Dark will retake that soon enough. And it looks like, instead of even a big Roach Ravager sort of all in, already an infestation pit, melee attack is the choice. Key difference. A melee attack instead of the missile attack, so clearly focus more on the Ling Bane. Does he have enough roaches? He has enough roaches to deal with Clem's bio. Clem does not have combat shield, nor does he have it in production. One of the most understandable yet common even at this level mistakes is that lack of combat shield. Adrenal glands is the one for Zerg. For Protoss, I think it's just upgrades in general, but nah, there we go. But not having that combat shield makes it a lot easier for the roaches to drive back these initial Marines here, and that will give Dark a little more space to work with as time goes on. Especially considering he's already getting a high. Clem's supply still quite healthy, considering. Road speed is about to complete. Baneling speed just started. Zergling speed alongside Baneling speed. But Dark is doing that waves of Zerg production style, almost like a tower defense opponent, where the next wave will be Ling Bane. Do you have 200 supply of Marine tank perfectly positioned? No? Well, some of them will get through. The Banshees trying to deal with some of these creep tumors, but the Queens, get off my creep! Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager boxes out the medevacs as well. Clem keeping Dark as busy as possible, but Dark staying busy on his own. He's got the hive nearly done. A scan towards the main spots the hive completed. 3 Vipers in production. So he's ready to deal with that late game Terran composition. This isn't the Dark who just picks a tech and runs with it. This is the full darkness here. He's encompassing the entire tech tree. 3 Vipers, Burrow, Adrenal Glands, Overlord Speed, Ultraless Cavern. Pretty much everything you could need to deal with a pre-Ghost army. Nidus Network on the... I'm sorry, I forgot the Nidus Network. Dark did not. But Clem is nearly maxed out himself. So, still a very dangerous Terran army to deal with. Those siege tanks, a real danger to everything on the ground here. The Vipers are sorely needed to help deal with this. Looks like Dark decides he can't fight this, so might as well go for a counterattack. He'll probably lose a base, but maybe he can get something from Clem as well. Goes for the reinforcements, but Clem's setup is perfect. Wow, the depot's just walling out. The Zerglings get into the 4th. 2-2 done for both sides, with +2 armor versus +2 weapons. Hatchery will go down. Looks like a few Zerglings were able to delay the 4th command center landing, but Dark is knocked back to 4 bases himself. +2 infantry armor is completed. Ultralists on the way. The Vipers are here. They've got enough energy for pretty much whatever they need. Blinding Cloud opportunity. Oh my god. All 4 tanks. They can't see anything. And they'll die in the darkness. Oh, just like that. Dark turns it around. The medevacs will try to make the most of a bad situation, but that push went from potentially deadly to a mild annoyance rather quickly as the Blinding Clouds landed. Clem was just not positioned well to deal with the Vipers. But at home, are those Zerglings all over? There's Zerglings burrowed in the mineral line. That's why there's some little blue dots on the minimap there. The Nidus into the main. The Zerglings are popping out. He's just going to burrow them everywhere. It's like the campaign playing against Dark. Oh, probably worse. +2 melee attacks done. Those are Adrenal Glands Zerglings. Someone tell Ragnarok. I mean Shin. I mean Hevium. Pick a name. Ghost Academy is done. Only a single ghost on the field. So nothing, well, nothing that can easily deal with the Ultras. But half a dozen siege tanks, a few Liberators, and some well-positioned bio. Probably going to be enough to deal with Ultralists that don't even have chitinous plating, as Dark didn't actually add that on immediately. Is Clem building his second Ghost Academy? I don't know if he's doing that on purpose. Is he doing it as part of a wall-off? Aw. I was hoping for the Ghost Academy wall-off, and being able to say the Ghost Academy actually has the most HP out of any of the smaller Terran buildings, especially compared to the cost, but he may have just forgotten he got the Ghost Academy in the first place. No, more Marines gunning through some Zerglings. The Ravager as well, taking a lot of damage. Parasitic Bomb back at home, though. And the Banelings pop out, the Marines pop into the medevacs. The mini-map is a bit confusing, as Dark has Zerglings burrowed all throughout the main base. Overlords heading to the north. I think these are just for vision for the Nidus, but we'll have to see. The Zerglings do unburrow, looking for more opportunities, trying to at least force some scans. There's only 3 orbitals. Clem has not been in a position to build those 5 or 6 extra orbitals that make it so you effectively have map hacks throughout the map. But he's working on it. He's got Vikings on the way. He's got Ghosts in production. 3-3, remarkably slow compared to Dark. He didn't actually start that 3-3 infantry weapons and armor particularly quickly. And that means Dark, in the late game, is going to have an up... Oh my god. This is the weirdest... That Dark, the logistical mastermind, he uses a Nidus in order to load Zerglings. Like, he takes the train in order to get on a ship to invade the beaches of the Frenchmen. Oh, wait a second. Operation Overlord, we'll call it. Clem doesn't actually know about this. The sensor tower's not in range. And the Overlords find a beachhead and will start ripping down the add-ons. A Nidus! How appropriate. A Nidus, and Clem loses everything out on the map. Dark is everywhere. He denies +2 vehicle weapons. Clem is scrambling to deal with this. The Banshee's actually back at home to deal with the Nidus. A drop cleaned up by a hungry Ultralisk. Has several kills there. The Liberator's gonna protect this base, but the Banelings roll through anyways. 3-3 just now finishing for Clem. But we do have to ask ourselves at the end of the day, at what cost? Well, it's not too bad for Dark. Only 3,000 more minerals. There haven't been that many losses overall. Yeah, 200. Oh my god, Okay, but I need to go back and see that. Did he actually do that? He burrowed. Oh my god. He burrowed 2 Banelings, waited for the SCVs to come back, and then detonated. And of course, Clem with the obligatory post-Baneling scan. Those Banelings are dead and gone. They were the only ones. But wow, Dark is all over right now. Nidus, Overlords, Burrow, and using all the Zerg tools here. But Clem still has 200 supplies, getting building armor and high-sec auto-tracking. Parasitic Bomb is dangerous, but most of the medevacs are well quarantined there. The Banelings roll in. Planetary just kind of melts underneath them. But the ghost count is starting to grow. For all Dark's fanciness here, Niduses do cost money. Dropper Lords as well. Lings and Banelings are not a particularly long-term efficient unit composition. So, he still needs something to deal with the ghosts. In fact, he needs something to deal with the Banshees. Some snipes come out. The Banshees are still a surprisingly important part of this army, as there's no real anti-air, but Banelings from the back! Dark forces Clem to pick up. He's gonna rip apart the tanks. He's dropping more Zerglings in the main. Okay, this Banshee has 11 kills. It looks like it'll finally die. Dark tried a bit of everything there, and he's able to drive Clem back. Clem, who has a lot of very badly bruised medevacs that, well, hopefully we actually see him repair. But, oh my, here we go again. The Vipers, EMPs, don't connect. Parasitic Bomb. Terrible, terrible damage on the medevacs, forced to micro away. The Ultra might be chased down, but another base, 25 SCVs. And I think for the first time, real damage has been dealt to Clem. All this has led to it. He's forced him back, pinned him to this base, and now he's using it as an anvil to smash his army into. Building armor might be done, but enough Banelings are still going to overrun. Clem down to 129 supply, Dark down to 142. Let's see where that is in 30 seconds. Clem scans the right side, sees just a few drones. Yeah, Clem has 40 workers back, and there we are. It was even for a moment, but now Dark at 185 to 146. He doesn't have so much money. He could just throw it away, but he's going for a knockout blow of Ultralisks. 7 Ultras in production. He's going to try to overrun the Ghosts and just crush anything else. But Clem still has a remarkably efficient army. Liberator, small counterattack. Clem can't really afford to lose any more SCVs. The Ghosts run out of energy for Cloak. Ultras pop out, but there's only one snipe available. And those medevacs very vulnerable to Parasitic Bomb. The Queens are pulled into action again as the only real anti-air opportunities. Flyer attacks level 1 is on the way. He could go for Corruptors. And the Parasitic Bomb up. He gets one on the medevacs. Oh my god, the Ghost Vac. He needs to drop him out, but Clem, his economy has been gutted. It doesn't matter how many Liberators he sends out. As there's just not enough here to fight Dark. He's crumbling under the weight of the Ultras. The Liberators are helpful, but Clem just has nothing left in Dark in a cinematic Zerg masterpiece of a game. I don't think Clem played bad, but Dark certainly played better. Wow. That was the most Zerg game I've seen in quite a while. I can't believe. Is it even worth it? So he managed to evade the sensor tower by putting a Nidus behind it, effectively, and then using that Nidus to pop out Zerglings to put into his overlords to drop into the main where they established a relatively safe spot so he could build a Nidus there. Wow. All right, well, certainly a very dark move indeed. Game 2, Oceanborn. Wow. Looks like Clem gonna fall back to the Reapers here. He is on the better side of the map to keep him protected. I did feel like Clem, I'm pretty sure he built a second Ghost Academy without realizing he had the first one, which delayed his ghosts a bit longer, as he just didn't really think of them. But Dark making the Ultras work, getting 3-3 before attack. Where are you going with that drone? Is he just scouting for proxies? He's being very diligent about it. Yeah. As... Well, Clem's been known to do it before. I haven't seen like a full-on just Marine proxy Rex in quite a while. Oh, okay. I see. He's tying it in. So the drone that's being sent out to build a third rather quickly because he's not going with any gas. Also scouts for the proxies. All right, he's got it all. Is west... Right. Honestly, I think... I have no idea. Oh, the server. Dark, the thinking emoji. Ah, so this is the North American Open Cup. Fun fact, Clem is the #1 player on the North American server. The #2 player right now is Trigger, the Protoss from Canada. The #3 player is Clem's Protoss. And then Dark also comes in during the North American Cup because the cups are not region locked. It's just the server that's played on and the timing. So if you want to wake up late or early, though Clem, I have it on good authority, works on gamer hours. So the North American Cup, which is like 1 a.m. European time, may very well be middle of the day for him. Dark, on the other hand, says, oh, there's a tournament. Well, here I am. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't play on Europe, but that is quite a lot of ping between EU and the most competitive cup as well. So probably if you were going to skip one. All right, Clem, Reapers. But that's the end of it. so far has made the queens uncomfortable. They don't like flying around with those grenades. They don't like being reminded of the good old days before the accident. Little Brenda bounce there. Cyclones on the way behind. Yeah, what an experience in game 1 from Dark. Wow. I wasn't sure how he was gonna deal with that late game ghost army. The answer was just build enough units and parasitic bomb to wipe out the medevacs. Just full economy Zerg. Constantly leaning on it. Really just embracing the full Zerg. Reaper's still alive here. Oh, he sees. Oh, he's gonna get that creep tumor 145%. Could potentially kill the queen. Oh. And any damage is dangerous as the cyclones have arrived. They will lock on to the overlord. The queens are here. They do damage rather quick. Gonna pop one of the overlords. Dark does have enough to fall back on. Gets one. Queens hold the ramp. Oh, the Reaper's taken out. Another overlord gonna be targeted. It is a bit awkward because you have to cancel the lock on. It doesn't work like a normal auto attack, even though it effectively is one. Them dancing back and forth. Continues pin cushioning the queens. Oh, another save. Dark has 53 drones and counting behind this. Them doing some reinstalling of the add-ons. The Evo chambers and engineering base. So, despite all the back and forth here, 2 Reapers and an Overlord are the extent of the kills. That's probably going to change momentarily. Well, still, just jousting back and forth. Clem right on the edge of the creep, or the edge of these ramps, and Dark holds the high ground. Is he going to commit to the run by? But the queens are here. Clem can't be too happy about that. You're going to get 2 drones. Slips by the queens into the main. How? Oh my god. Somehow, all the Hellions survived, sharing 4 wheels between them. Kills 6 in the drones, but yeah, it's still better than he deserved to get, but not nearly as bad as it could have been for Dark. Yeah. Upgrade start. Dark actually has a slight advantage. This time it's going to be missile attack for the roaches, and I'm going to go ahead and assume the Ravagers. Or maybe just for the queens. Okay, that's clearly what the missile attacks are for. Upgraded, resharpened knitting needles. Stainless steel. The only stain is blood. Dark. Working on the Marines. A few of them kind of get caught out awkwardly. But delays the 4th base. Forces the cancel. So that is a moderate annoyance for Dark. And definitely cuts into his production capabilities. Hatcheries are production as well as economy. And that's why it's so important to deny them as much as possible, especially at this stage of the game, right when the economy is essentially maxed out. Like, Dark has 66 drones, which is 22 per base, 16 minerals, 6 on gas. Full 3 base saturation. He's not going to get a much better economy, even if he adds more drones, without getting another base. Dark with 8 Ravagers. The Dark Hammer. Looking to smash. 10 Ravagers on the way. 1-1. No infestation pit, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not this time around. Dark is going all in kind of an awkward fashion. Could easily end up being a longer game, but Dark clearly wants to send everything at Clem, ideally before he can get much more supply, and just force him into submission, essentially, which is quite a dramatic phrasing, but I think appropriate. Well, how many tanks? Clem has 3 of them. In fact, putting one via the medevac into the 3rd base mineral line. A scan spots no hive, which means Clem knows he just needs to hold. All right, the first volley of corrosive out. The tanks are also tucked in. A bunker going to help out. Another couple biles takes out one of the tanks. 2 more at the natural. 1 is taken out by a volley, but Dark's army's starting to really thin out here. Targeting the Ravagers is Clem. Able to take out 4 or 5 more of them. Even the Cyclone's getting involved still. Another tank siege is up. Dark Supply's still very solid. 17 more roaches. It looked like it was thinning out, but he was mostly regrouping. And has made his way in towards the third. Another medevac drop of the tanks in order to bring him into a better position. Corrosive Bile still going through. Even a Cyclone still in there. 8 SCVs down. Not even remotely close to critical damage so far. And Dark, not making the progress he needs here. He starts an infestation pit. He adds drones. Melee attack. +2 carapace. Clem has held. And held rather strongly. A handful of SCVs dead is a tiny price to pay compared to being able to maintain a critical mass of Marines and tanks. And medevacs as well, as Dark has no easy way to deal with those medevacs. A scan from Clem will see, yes, the fourth base is done, but there's almost no drones there, which does give away how all-in Dark was. Holding the high ground. Wow, Clem well, staying a lot longer than I thought he would there. Trades out the Marines for the Roaches. Anything he can do to thin it out. He's now building 2 siege tanks at a time. That factory production spun up and good to go. Dark coming in again. Corrosive Bile takes out the sensor tower. A single medevac's put off for a drop. Dark still kind of chewing his way through. And medevac, oh, the Queen's in position to deal with it. Looks like there were enough roaches or anything at the fourth base here. Speed is on the way for the Zerglings as Dark realizes that as the supplies grow for Clem, very simply, Roach Ravager does... 200 supply of Roach Ravager is not good enough to beat 200 supply of a competent Terran. Very simple. Clem's not going to eat Corrosive Biles all over the place. Occasionally, yes, but generally, no. He's not going to have all his tanks out of position, though last game was probably a bad example of that. It is unlikely he's going to be sending drops into Queens. So that means eventually Dark will need to have that hive tech. But for now, Clem's still biting off more than he can chew. And loses 3 tanks. Make that 4. Add 1 more. 5 in total. And Dark trying to come up the ramp, but the supply is definitely thinning out. While it looks really good here for Dark, he lost so many roaches. He killed the tanks, but is there concussive shell? Indeed there is. Slows them down. Beautiful splits. As the army thins out, the medevacs get stronger and stronger. My God. Dark was doing so well right up until, well, now 2-2's done. The tanks go down, but Clem is able to retake that ground almost immediately. There's a drop at the back, killed a handful of drones. Assume you can fit 4 drones, I think, in your hand. Well. A scan to the main. Does he see the lurker den? Oh my God, the scan. A bit of a lazy scan from Clem there. Oh, but not a very lazy drop. He gets another hash. Dark coming in. Corrosive Bile doesn't kill that last tank. It's doing terrible, terrible damage. And Clem is now very much turning the tables, flipping them in the Dark's face. Oh, Corrosive Bile gets a medevac, softens up more. But Dark doesn't have the economy to keep up here. Clem now has a 4th base. He has more SCVs. Dark is trying to take the best fights he can, but he cannot sustain this level of unit production. He needs the lurkers. What do we have up here? A single Liberator. Queens will deal with it. But I think Clem starts to realize that he now has the economic advantage. He now has the ability to replenish his army more quickly than Dark. And as long as he trades rather well, or even. Oh my. Ugh. Only Dark can even threaten medevacs with Corrosive Bile. 3-3's on the way. 5 lurkers, which Clem already has +2 siege tanks in high numbers. The lurkers do seem like a not the reversal that Dark needs to deal with the tanks. There's so many tanks. Are there any Vipers? 2 Vipers on the field. Those blinding clouds. They're going to have to be impeccable. And even that. The Vipers do have full energy. Yanks in 1 tank. Gonna try to dismantle it. Gets a medevac, which he can't take out. This time around, Oh, another tank. And another one. He's starting to work on it, but look at the supply. Clem is replenishing any unit he loses almost immediately. Dark, on the other hand, is struggling to put enough on the field just to fight. The tanks are in range. Ooh, Bio Army takes a few big swipes from the lurkers. Siege tanks getting cut down to size. Only a couple on the back line, but the medevac count remains strong. 3-3 is about to complete for the Bio. Closing in, trying to line up some snipes. The Viper's gathering energy under fire here. But they'll have enough. Is that enough for a parasitic bomb? Did he just double up on an abduct? A snipe comes through, but not before another abduct. Another triple bile knocks down the Liberator. The medevacs are nearly out of energy here, but the Viper, the only thing that was prying open this attack, is taken out, and now, well, the corrosive biles. Dark, holding. But is he going to be able to push back at any point? If Clem makes the mistake of attacking directly into the lurkers, which Dark has been trying to bait him into, maybe. But I think it's on Clem now to make the mistake. A scan. The lurkers trying to find hits. Corrosive Bow, not going to be it either. Roach Hydra. Decent enough against mostly Marauders. The medevac's low on energy. Yeah, those Marauders. Badly bruised, and Dark turns it around on the other side. The lurkers are able to burrow. But this is a big commitment for someone with 134 supply. Goes to the back corner. One more lurker. Taken out. Another lurker scampers away. Dark is trying to just take the momentum by throwing everything at Clem to see what'll stick. Trying to back off with individual lurkers. It's not going to work out. Clem brings it all together. Hydra is trickling across the map. Another lurker. Somehow Dark is bringing the supplies kind of close to even. He's killed some SCVs. Another scan. The Ravager's with it, dismantling the tanks. More snipes. Manages to interrupt a few ghosts, but at the end of the day, the lurkers are shot down. And GG! Clem holds as Dark's aggression is driven back. Wow. What a great series. These two playing at the top of their game right now. And that is the difference. I don't blame Dark for trying the Mass Roach. I think you gotta keep your options open when playing against someone like Clem. Like if you go for just the defensive style every game, Clem is gonna get more aggressive and make it that much harder. So now Dark has put that in his head that he may go for the all-in attack. And Clem is going to have to respect it to some extent. But, of course, it wasn't enough. I don't know if he has to respect it. Clem's micro is... It's unclear. He streamed a few times. And, I mean, you can watch from a replay, but watching it in first person, you can actually see his mouse. The spit, like... He doesn't even think about it, clearly. Obviously, at this stage, nobody's thinking about the individual actions they're making. But in a quarter second, splitting Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, and minimizing splash damage while most of the units are still attacking, that's a big difference. I think every Diamond League Terran thinks they're splitting against Banelings, but splitting against Banelings doesn't mean running your Marines away in a panic in several different directions. It means 3 or 4 Marines are running off to the sides, and then the rest of them are firing and gunning down as much as possible until the last possible second when they get loaded into a medevac through a teleportation beam or whatever they have, or split back themselves. But the key to splits in general and dealing with splash damage, especially from Zerg, is not how well you're able to avoid it, but how well you're able to mitigate it and how much DPS you can keep firing back at the army. And that's the difference between Clem and, well, there's only a single-digit number of other Terrans you could even compare. Low single-digit. He always just has so much of his army participating in the fight, all while trading the rest away. And that last game was, like, how many, he lost his tanks, but he lost, what, 5-6 tanks in a fight? But he knocked out like 70 supply of Roach Ravager. Now, I don't think he meant to lose the techs, but he turned that situation from what could have been a decisive victory for Dark into a Pyrrhic one at best. So, just like the Reapers have been played out for Terran, I think the Roach timings have been somewhat figured out for Zerg. The Terran versus Zerg matchup kind of goes through these rotations. Patches are relevant, especially when they nerf things like the Baneling or the Infestor. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is knowing which units to build earlier on. Both for Zerg and for Terran. Getting a production set up, you need tech labs on a factory to go for tanks. You need roach speed to make roaches worth it at all for Zerg. These are things that take some time and some preparation. If you know your opponent home is going for that tech path, it gives you a lot more leeway to prepare. The Zerglings get in, but as ever, I'm not sure it was a good thing. I guess getting a scout is good, but they don't actually find anything but a Marine. Queens driving things back. Banshees. How many? Is that Banshee? That's Banshee 2. Yeah. Looks like we're going to have another relatively standard start. Should be seeing those Evo chambers, those NG bays momentarily, as both sides will be looking to tech up. Baneling nest rather early out of Dark. Possibly suspecting a Hellbat timing. Clem darts in with the Hellions and backs out at the last possible second before he gets surrounded by the Lings. Dark had waiting. There's the NG bays. There's the Evo chambers. And Dark now adding on his gas. Well, additional gas. Another very heavy mineral build. You don't want to get gas until the last possible second. You gotta maximize the amount of queens, the amount of hatcheries, drones, early on. Spore Crawler moves into position. +1 melee, so it will be, well, he doesn't have a roach one, so. Spore Crawler to help zone out exactly, he knows what he's dealing with. But the Hellions to the north. Gonna poke, actually should be able to cancel, oh my god, with a grenade on the Queens. Clem gets a hold of it. The Queens poking at the Banshees. The Banshees will assassinate one of the Queens. Single Widow Mine on the way. Actually, I haven't seen any. Maybe one or two from Clem so far, but this game, well, he knows he's up against heavier Lingbait. There's not been a single roach. Widow Mine's distinctly better against Zerglings and Banelings than Roaches, as you can kill. Well, my record is 37 Banelings in a single Widow Mine hit. Whereas you can only get one Roach. So, definitely not as effective against that Roach Ravager composition. And part of the reason why I think a lot of players will lean on the Roach Ravager, at least in the mid-game. But Clem already showing he knows how to deal with it. Dark, with his Massling Bane. Get your emotional support Zerglings out. I came equipped today. My favorite shirt. The question will be, are there more Zerglings on my shirt? Or on the map when Dark is playing? Probably on the map. Almost certainly. Go to my Dronely fans if you'd like to count. Infestation pit on the way. Ling... Well, just Lings and Banes for now. Hydralis being added in. 1-1 done for Clem. But he has not started... Well, hasn't started his 2-2 immediately. He does have the armory. And Dark is going to be heading straight up towards High. Clem does have a ton of army supply right now. He's at 157 to 136, which will happen at this stage of the game as Lingbane is distinctly less supply heavy than Roach Ravager. Combat shield isn't done yet, so if Dark can find a fight with Carapace done, but now no combat shield, and he's going for it now. He's gonna try to drag the Widowmine, hit it. Oh, terrible, terrible damage right in the face of the Terran army. The Widowmines are turned against them and then taken out. The Widowmine's the #1 unit there for Dark, a master of borrowing Terran units at the right place in the right time. Clem getting punished, 1 for not having combat shield, and 2 for being too bold with his mines. You do love to see it. And Dark takes a very important victory at a critical stage of the game when he really needed a win. You can't start losing your economy that, oh god, drawing clause is done. Yeah. Dark mostly focused though, over to the north side. The Widowmines will be dealt with. The Hydras, maintaining them is going to be the key part of the next stage of the game. As that Hydra, they're relatively expensive. And if you can keep them alive, then that's more lings and mains you can easily fill in. Another mine drop. It's a few more drones. The queens are there, but, I mean... Oh, over to the north side. The lings and the banes are closing in, and again, Clem getting a bit bold. Oh my... Alright. The big Widowmine hits didn't happen, even though Jimmy moved the camera at the most wrong possible time. Again. That's a big one. And another hit. 14 kills. Clem definitely getting more of the Zerg this time around. It's like he's joining everything up here. Hive is done, which means Vipers, Adrenal Glands can all be added on. There we go. Viper is probably just for Parasitic Bomb at this stage. He didn't even get a Lurker Den. It's just going to be mass Hydra Ling Bane. And here comes Dark yet again, trying to drag those Widowmine hits in. Succeeds with the Overseers. And Clem, oh. Alright, that one taken out. Still a dicey endeavor. The little red dots on the minimap, some brave changelings here. Oh, are they brave? Well, that's more of a question for the philosophers. Do changelings think of themselves as Terrans? Or do they think of themselves as spies for the Zerg? Like when they're killed by the Terrans, do they feel betrayed? I think so. Why would you make them think too hard? It's more convincing if you make them think they're Terran. It's pretty messed up. Get over here. That medevac will go down to the queens, but Clem attacking over to the left flank. And this base is essentially undefended. He should be able to take it out before Dark can muster any sort of defense. Broodlings easily taken out. Clem is now expanding to the north. He's adding ghosts on. But this is kind of the unit composition where ghosts are not particularly useful. They don't hurt. They're certainly not bad. It's just a normal fighting unit. Oh my god. Widowmine, well, you can see the blood on the beautiful green fields. And clearly that Widowmine did enough. Dark will replace it, but Clem will maintain some momentum. 21 Widowmines and 40 Marines have died. Oh my god. More than making up for lost time here. Another mine, this one hitting more Terrans. Parasitic Bomb opportunity. Or just bring them back over here. Takes down the medevac. Some of the reinforcements getting caught. Widowmine, though, takes out a Viper. Another mine. Clears up the Zerglings. And Clem. Oh my god. Dragging him into the knot again. Oh my. Dark suffering from some massive skill issues here. Well. So unable to press the counterattack as Clem clearly maintaining momentum. Oh. The Widowmines doing what they set out to do and then some. We got another Overlord drop loading up. I haven't seen it for quite a while. It's only 2 games ago. Wow, this is quite a dramatic series. The Overlord's into the main. Melee attack level 3 about to complete as well. Clem's been maxed out, so he actually doesn't have that many units in production, which is a problem for him right now. And he doesn't have a wall off at the 3rd, so the Banelings will roll in and get a lot, well, 13, 16 SCVs. Another army looking to fight. Not gonna happen. Hydraling Bane down the center. 2 command centers vulnerable. And Clem is losing on all fronts. At the back, at the 3rd, at the center, over to the left. Dark wins on all 4. Clem, though, still has plenty of supply. He's got to consolidate his forces and manage to fight the main army. And that's not nearly enough here. Drags in the Ghost. It throws out an EMP during it. Parasitic Bomb on a single medevac. Why not? Banelings are crashing in. Dark. Well, some changelings there as well. The Banelings into the main. 26 SCVs down. Clem's supply is still remarkably high for the situation. He's got a counterattack. 5 medevacs and not nearly 5 medevacs of Marines. What happened there? Meanwhile, Hydras and Lings starting to get thinned out in the main as dozens of Marines and Zerglings are taken out by the mines. And suddenly Clem, how is the supply even? Oh my god. Lings and Banes being produced at Clem's doorstep. But Dark has yet to deal with anything back at home. 40 SCVs down now. Is there a parasitic bomb? He drags back one of the medevacs, but the only one without anything inside. More Hydras and Banes into the main. He's just trying to kill the production, but Dark, he's died on this hill a few too many times, and Clem, I think, has held. Wow. It really looked like Dark would just run him over there, but Clem found the pressure points on the other side of the map. A small Marine drop when Dark had everything committed to killing his main will result in a significant victory. Okay, victory is a strong word. Clem is not nearly as far behind as he should be after something like that. Dark was in his base, killing his buildings. He killed the 3rd, he killed the Datcher, got multiple command centers, but Clem held. Dark got 2 in a fit. Oh my god, burrowed Banes. There's nothing to hit. Okay. Okay. And there's your demonstration of why burrowed Banes aren't something you see very often. Leave the burrowing to the Terrans, Dark. Dark setting up for another drop. There's still 1 Baneling back there, but there's a few things more impotent. Some of the mines. Whoop. Still gets a hit, blunting the front. Overlord's in towards the main. But Clem already has a couple divisions ready back at home. The mine his army is mostly Widow mines now. Dark unable to crack it. And Clem, where are you going? His army's leaving! Just as the Zerglings come in. He may not have realized that this is happening. Clem actually struggling to keep up with everything Dark's throwing. Clem. Dark burrows a bunch of Zerg. They walked out as the Zerglings. Oh my god. The 1 Zergling unburrowed killed the Zerglings that were burrowed with the Widow Mine. Beautiful. Well, drags in the Ghost. That EMP in the air. Some real trick shot opportunities there. Dark still... he seems to be taking the rest of the map. There's still a few Zerglings. What? Where did he get those from? Did they go back into the Overlord? It looks like it. Meanwhile, another mine. It looks like that one was taken out, but... How many Zerglings? 500 Zerglings dead. How many mines? 43 mines and only 100 Marines. Almost as much supply of mines as Marines. Some more mines. And with that Liberator to backstop it, the Bio Army with a dozen or so medevacs. Okay, 10. I think that's all of them. Will be enough. Dark is still... He's getting Neural Parasite for Infestors. But Clem has stabilized. Dark still has a massive economy. There's so many bases so far apart on this map. +3 Carapace is just now going to be finishing. +2 Plating for Clem, by the way. Wow. +2 plating, which includes his medevacs and his widow mines. Benefiting from it. Are there those? That's another set of Evo chambers. He's just got battery pack Evo chambers. Maybe the others were taken out. I think they were taken out by that drop when the base trade kind of started. All right, a mine at the front. He has so many overseers, but they're all vulnerable. More getting sniped up. I don't know how many overseers have died. Oh, but the Burrowed Infestor gets a fungal. The front line of the Ghost is taken out. Another fungal onto the medevacs. The Infestor is caught out, but several of the medevacs will die. A Widow Mine in the mineral line got a few more of the drones as they transferred. A snipe comes through. No detection here for the Ghosts. Overseers needed left, right, and center. Falling all the way back. Good target fire with the planetary. He's trying to target the base, but the planetary struggling to turn around. And, well, the Hydra's tried to press through, but Clem holds the line. The planetary did go down. More SCVs will be hunted by the Zerglings. This Widow Mine racked up some drone kills. 11 SCVs go down, but the supplies are still nearly even. Another fungal. Those are changelings. Watching their brothers die. I've decided that the changelings think they're Terrans. They just don't know why they follow the commands of the Zerg. Other mine taken out. The Liberator, though. Another flavor of annoyance. And Clem still holding on despite Dark maintaining, for the most part, an economic lead for over 5 minutes. Dark has actually been about even in terms of cost when it comes to losses. But, well, the mines are taken out before they can fire. 8 SCVs down. Another hatchery, but Clem, the aggression continues. This has been a brutal game. By the way, I usually measure the intensity of games by whether in terms of thousands of resources lost per minute. Over 1,000 resources lost per minute by either side is a ridiculous slugfest. We're at 20 minutes. Dark has lost nearly 40,000. Clem has lost 35. These two build and lose units at nearly double the rate of almost anyone else I've ever seen. Okay, over 1,000 is not too uncommon, but 2K is nearly unheard of. At any point, you just simply, like, you could barely mine more than 2,000 minerals and gas a minute during most stages of the game, but of course we're at the most high economy. Those infestors, now is the time. He's got multiple burrowed infestors. His best opportunity might be borrowing the Ghost or getting that money fungal. Things are slowing down, though, as the economies, as I mentioned, do start to thin out. The main base is gone. The natural is dried up. The third, both third bases are starting to run out of mineral patches. They're pretty low on the gas. Dark has to re-creep his Evo chambers, which are still alive. Both sides are maxed out, but they can't really afford to do it again. Oh my god. Gets an infestor and, like, I don't know how many Zerglings. Far too many. Well, Dark can't be happy with that one. He replaces the Lings. Gonna scan ahead. The infestor tries to unburrow, but it's too late. And now Clem marching forward. Gonna keep Dark off these center bases. Infestor watching for the army. Clem, he only has 4 orbitals, which is pretty solid, but not so incredible that... Ooh. That Widow Mine, though. The Infestor only had 1 fungal. He can pick up with the rest. Oh, a bit of an awkward pickup there to deal with it. Drags out another mine hit, but the Infestor, there's the scan, at least forces that out. A Lurker. Oh, another fungal. Trying to chase him down. Widow Mines. He's attempting to drag him into the Terran army. The Banelings are still rolling forward. The medevac's starting to get a lot of work done. We're still going. Just chasing him down. Oh my god, he gets every baneling, sets up a perfect firing line. Parasitic Bomb could be incredibly helpful. Trying to use the mines against him once again. Mines. Oh, and a ghost makes it back. Dark still unable to break through. Clem holds the line, and he holds it far outside of his bases. And Dark is running out of money. That's a lot of Vipers. He has 6 Vipers now. There are 99 Zerglings on the map. Liberators. But if Clem is given any time to stabilize, Dark is going to struggle more and more, especially as the economies get low here. This is probably the last opportunity for Dark to fight with a swarm-style army and make it work. And here we go. Parasitic Bomb on the Medivacs. A whole bunch of lurkers. He's counting on this being the fight. He's going for the main again. Going straight to the center of the production. Has only one Overseer here. A potential weakness. An Orbital going to be ripped apart by the Zerglings. Clem looks like he's setting up for a base trade. The main base is heavily defended here. That last Overseer, the Zerglings and the Lurkers just overrunning the main. Widowmines burrowed within. I don't know if they're enough to defend for now, though. And here comes Clem with the counterattack. Widowmine kills some drones. 19 drones down so far. And, well, nobody's going to be able to rebuild after this. What'll be left on the field is the question. Dark. Trying to reinforce, but the Widowmines remain burrowed. The main base, the production is gone. Clem takes out another hatch. He's rebuilding in the top right corner, but he's going to need to rebuild supply depots as well. That last Overseer, oh, watch. How many? 76 Widowmines, 1,000 Zerglings. And somehow, I said it'd be the last fight, and it was truly the last maxed out fight. Unless something ridiculous happens. Dark still has enough lurkers. 8 lurkers against 1 orbital. There's not enough scans. How do you like it, Clem, after this entire time with your burrowed Widowmines and your cloaked ghosts? Suddenly you run out of detection. Suddenly. How do you like it? There's gonna be 1 scan. How does it feel, says Dark. He doesn't say it, but, you know, if I know Dark at all, I think I do by this point. He's thinking it. 1,000 and more Zerglings. But Clem cannot face the lurkers. His army is gone, thinned out. The mines have taken a heavy toll on both sides. But there's nothing left to stop the lurkers. That's not nearly enough bio. The last scan. Yanks in the ghost before even a snipe. And Dark. 2-1. Match point. No, we're not done. Oh my. Wow. These two. Clem makes up for all the Widowmines he didn't build in the previous games. Let's go to match point. I felt like there was no more commentary to be given there. Or at least I didn't feel up to trying to describe it. You were here. You watched. And now, potentially, the conclusion. Game 4. Dark versus Clem, the CSL Cup Finals. Both of them fighting like it's the World Championship. Some arduous games. Hard led. God, that's got to be exhausting. Watching those mines. I don't know how Dark... The fact that Dark... It feels like someone who uses his anger. Most of the time. Except against Hero, his nemesis. The only person who can get him tilted. But watching those mines kill 10, 15, 20 Zerglings. Over and over and over again. And still building another round. Because the one thing mines don't do that siege tanks can is help really kill hatcheries. So the mines make it easier to fight, but Clem couldn't turn that into enough economic damage to keep Dark at bay. So Dark went with the quantity over quality build of just keep sending Zerglings and Banelings and Hydras at him until he crumbles or you run out of money. And Dark did not crumble first. And I did mention that I usually use the resources lost just to break the fourth wall a little. If I'm not sure about a series, I'll check maybe a game that I think might be the best and see whether the resources lost are particularly high. And like I said, 1K a minute, especially in the first 20 minutes, is a good indicator of a pretty epic game. I've very rarely seen 2,000 resources lost a minute on average, especially considering you don't even mine 2,000 until like the 5 or 6 minute mark minimum. You'd have to be losing every unit from that point forward for like 10 minutes and then some because of the early game or any points before that where you don't have enough. So, and I think almost all of the games that had that count of resources lost involved these two players. So, it's a skill to build the units and another skill to kill them at that rate. I think Clem working for both teams for a while on it. The Zerglings actually managed to get by the Git and SCV. Nice start. Zergling speed is done. The Hellions are not. Gets a little surround there. And, well, he may actually delay the third. These Zerglings. Get him. Oh my god. The Hero-lings. So much relative damage. 3 SCVs and mining time for 4 lings that should never have gotten in. Beautiful. It's about the best you could ever hope for. Especially against Clem. Banshee is going to fall back to it. Clem has been real consistent this series. Not trying. I said they rewrite the book, but apparently they're just doing a new edition of Standard this time around. Dark with a heavier economic start. Then he's kind of found a way to do the 3cc build for Zerg, which is that mostly gasless start. But this time around, of course, Zergling speed playing a key factor. The dance around the edges of the creep. The queens to push back the Hellions, but continue to spread the creep. And the Banshees on the way to poke and prod at any defenses, as well as being... The Banshees are partially to do damage, but they're also to keep you safe against roaches. Maybe a Ling Bane all in, which Dark has been known to do. Speaking of, Dark built enough Zerglings, but the Banshee spotted them well before they could be dangerous. That is a lot more Zerglings than you'd usually see against just Hellions. So the intent for Dark was to do a counterattack. He may still attempt it. The Hellions are still out of position. I think he's realizing if he doesn't see them, they're probably closer to his base than Dark's. So Clem kind of keeping those Hellions a little further back. +1 melee and Carapace on the way. Where are the NG bays? The NG bays are done. Clem should be starting 1-1. But Dark's been very much focused on the upgrades throughout this series. And it's paid off for him. 1-1, but about a 20-30 second lead for Clem. Or Dark, rather. There's only two choices. How do you screw that up? The Zerglings? Look for the natural, not gonna find it. The SCVs have transferred to the third. I don't know about this one. Yeah, okay, well. 19 Zerglings. Gets one more SCV than he had before. And two Marines? 2 Marines. Eh. And a key point is Dark made these Zerglings so early, they cut into his drone count. He built them well before 50 drones. The intent was to either completely crush the Hellions or backstab there. But this time around, Dark's economy is not going to far outstrip that of Clem's. Instead, Clem just a few workers behind, which means, for Terran, very competitive. There are 3 hatcheries on the way, though, for Dark. Clearly moving into the expansion phase of the game. 4 hatcheries, I'm sorry. 3. As the Banshees come in, but he's expanding literally everywhere he can out from his current bases, as well as adding a macro hatch in the main. The lair quite late, just now finishing. So that means no Baneling speed for quite a bit, and that'll give Clem an opportunity to really pound the point home with his first Marine medevac attack, especially once 1-1 is complete. Does he have an armory? He has an armory on the way, and that means Hellbats can be added in. So can deal out a decent amount of damage alongside this army, or just dart in another side as well. I'm gonna try to drive back the creep. Marines already lining up against the base, but 1-1 is done for Dark. There's no way Clem can fight on the open field right now. 3 mines at a time on the way for Clem. He's already got drilling claws on the way. Hellbats will transform at the watchtower. And Clem. Easily able to dodge it. And the Queens are not enough to deal with this army. Kind of blindsided is Dark. The Widowmines will unburrow, allow the Hellbats to clean out the small amounts of Zerglings. Quite a lot of synergy between them. And Overseers will be enough to take out the rest, but the Hellbats are holding the line. Clem still has an army over to the left flank as well. And he's working. There's only 2 Banelings. 1, 2. Oh, but some more come in from the south. Clem's still dealing with it. The detection a little far off. The Banshee's still going to work. That Overseer there. And just the Queens are holding for now. But Dark, he's got a hive on the way. He got an infestation at the moment his lair finished. And Clem is still unable. Oh, wow. The burrow will deny the 4th base out of Clem. So Dark already on top of, well, underneath it. But the supply is heavily in favor of the Frenchman. He's really been punching out Marines, Marauders, well, no Marauders, Mines and Medevacs. And Dark is not really closing the distance. Banelings can only attack once. Oh, no. Clem darts in with another Marine drop, gets out. The Afterburners helping out a lot. Banelings get into the 3rd base. We'll kill 5 SCVs, soften up the rest. Very stressed out right now. Widowmines will be cleaned up in the center, and Dark is keeping Clem at bay, and he's got the hive done now. He can start Adrenal Glands momentarily. Ultraless Cavern is the initial choice. Wow. Dark has really mixed a lot more Ultras in lately. Lurkers and Ultras. Broodlord still a rare sight indeed. Just too expensive for too little benefit. And a big counterattack. The Widowmine field's gonna be almost impossible to deal with. The Banelings waiting for an opportunity. Hey! He's gonna burrow in the most obvious location. The Widowmines helping out a lot with Dark's army. And Dark actually ends up losing a ton of units, but he does a lot of damage as well. Lingbane, he seems to always have more, but 146 to 179 supply. Dark is not getting out of these unscathed. That's not how Banelings work. Well, he's lost almost twice as many minerals. Widowmines have recharged. Ooh, doing a lot of damage to both sides yet again. Oh my god, there are 13 mines on the field. The Banelings may get a few of them, but the army in the main, the Queens are getting gunned down. Frenchmen quite good at taking him out. Eventually, those medevacs, well, the Marines dropped out by the medevacs will be cleaned up. But Clem maintains the momentum on all fronts. The M is too much. And Clem brings us to game number 5. Dark unable to kill the momentum. He tried that cheeky Zergling counterattack. It seems like the trend is Dark does a epic macro game and then tries kind of like a early mid-game timing to throw Clem off. Clem holds. Epic macro game. Early mid-game timing. Clem holds. So, that means Alcyone, our game 5 map. Well, you see where I'm going with this. Though, I'm not sure Dark is following any sort of set plan, but instead, whatever he thinks will throw the series closest to chaos. Game 5. In one of the most epic series and brutal slaughterhouses I've ever seen. So many units on both sides being taken down, and it's not the end of it. In the top right, Team Liquid's Clem, and of course, the final boss, bringing us, once again, Dark giving us as many games as possible to pad his turn. You don't get paid more for playing more games. You only get paid for winning or losing. All right, there are some tournaments that do that, but not here. The best and most efficient way would be to win 3-0 in 15 minutes. But that did not happen here. I'm only doing the Reaper build once in this series. Oh my god, yeah, there's some brutal stuff going on. They're like dissecting several different types of units, Zergs out there. I think there's a hybrid in one of them. I love the little details. It's a beautiful map. Dark taking his third. Just the Zerglings to start. It looks like it's going to be the 1-1-1, the barracks, the factory, the starport yet again. Oh, the drone bounced back, but of course Dark keeps it alive. Creep spread begins, trying to bait Clem into sending that Reaper a little too far forward, but it's not going to happen. He's thinking about it. He wants it. But, Hellions. Do we see a Banshee? There's no starport. He just starts it. It's the full economy again from Clem. So probably quite a delayed Banshee, but a Banshee nonetheless. Oh, come on. No Brenda bounce there. And the Reaper gets out. Because of course it does. Oh, Clem. Hellions through the center. Zerglings get tapped by the Reaper as well. Dark still just droning up. And will we see the Banshee on the way? Oh, there you go. Lair quite quickly here for Dark. Three more gases. He only has 37 drones. Are we gonna see a roach hornet? A suspicious amount of gas. Overlord speed? There's the roach hornet. Is this a German taxi build? Why else would you get Overlord speed? Like, Is he going to ferry the queens across the map? I haven't seen a German taxi build against Terran, but what is the point of Overlord speed otherwise? I don't know how well this does against someone who already has constant scouting with Hellions. A Banshee's going to be across the map. This is certainly something different. Yeah, there we go. All right, ladies. Susan, Karen, Lucille, get over here. What is it, Brenda? We're getting in the Overlord. How do we fit? Don't ask. I'm sorry. I blacked out for a moment. Oh my god. Four Overlord. No, 4 queens and an Overlord. 4 Overlords and a queen would be even more impressive, but... 4... Okay, we've arrived! And there's no cloak. There's cloak. That's very important. Well, you can dodge it. I'm gonna go for the creep, but... Okay, alright. You gotta use a stop command there. Yeah... Well, the cloak is not that surprising here. There's another dropper lord. Here's the Overseer. What am I watching? Oh my god, the queen's trying to chase down the banshees. They can't transfuse unless they're on creep because of science. But he's dropping the creep. He's gonna save one of the Ravagers with a temporary creep spot there. And Clem is trying to do what damage he can. Dark is definitely flailing a bit as well. But it feels like Dark decided this is what we're doing today. I have no idea if it's gonna work, but it is one of the most Dark builds I have ever seen. Well, alright. Zerglings, Ravagers moving in. There is no yeah, that's not doing it. The Banshees are doing a lot of damage. The Queens were not participating in the fight. Stim is done. Oh, it's a disaster. Well, it was a great idea. But I think after over an hour of gameplay, Dark may have just thrown the entire series. Because he's gonna do the Overlord creep drop. He may do it in Clem's main, which is, you know, considered rude in most cultures. But Dark is at 44 drones. The creep is all, I mean, Clem's gonna see creep in his main spreading rather quickly. But it can all be cleared up with a single scan, at least for now, if you get it early. I wonder if Clem's gonna realize. I think he will, that he's kind of in a position to just walk across the map. And win the game. Well, we'll see if somehow Dark can keep them at bay. But there are 4 infestors, which could go a long way. But at the end of the day, he's got Stim Pack +1. There's nothing in his way. Okay. Infestors are most of the way done. Fungals, it takes 3 fungals to kill a Marine with combat shield, since the nerf. You do need some units to follow it up. Alright, Dark. Let's see what you got. The infestors are not out yet. The Marines are already stimming through. I think he spotted the infestors. Well, if he didn't before, he certainly did now. They're... Remember us. Why are the queens over here, Dark? They literally can't get back. There's mineral walls. Anyways. Oh my god. How does this happen? And he didn't chain it. No corrosive bile. He's got changelings. He was blocking with changelings. Dark pulled out every trick in the book that was banned by the Zergs years ago for being probably too dumb, but also very entertaining. These queens just hanging out. The Banshees still exist. The Roaches and Ravagers will voice much displeasure with that. Though cannot actually do anything about it. The Queens definitely can, if the Ravagers would get out of the way! But 12 drones is definitely not going to help Dark's long-term prospects here. And the infestors. Well, I mean, there you go. A fungal, but he loses 2 infestors. Marines will be healed. Another fungal. The infestors are easy enough to prepare for. Oh my god, you got another dropper lord over here. Feels like Dark is like playing a ladder game with friends, but it's game 5 of an hour-long finals. Oh my god. And Clem is not taking nearly as much advantage of the scenario, I think because it's so weird that he doesn't recognize how ahead he is. He's gonna scan. He scans the main. There's no hive. All you gotta do at this stage is not. He keeps using change. Oh my god. Yeah, come on through, boys. Oh my god. But the choke point here. Oh my. And the fungals. Yeah. If Dark brings this back, another incredible fungal, but the medevacs can heal through it. If you don't have the follow-up, it's just not going to do it. Throws it out there. Another shotgun blast of corrosive bile, clips 1 medevac and nothing else. Dark getting a lot closer to maxing out than I ever thought he would in this game, but Clem is closing in on 2-2. He's on nearly at the 4th base here. It's still just Roach Ravager with some incredibly impotent infestors. There's a weird amount of creep spread over to the side of the map that no one can walk to. But otherwise, without a hive, without Vipers, well, Dark has to rely on some incredible fungals and corrosive biles that just are not getting it done. And now +2. So many infestors. Oh, 1 less now. He's setting up a massive flank. Clem still hasn't been able to stop Dark from mining at these bases. He's starting to add ghosts in. The bio army, this mineral wall is taken out. Oh, a ghost drop with the MP! He throws a fungal out, but it's a little off the mark. And well, where are the roaches? He just kind of piles in, realizing, oh, it's just too much. GGG. Dark, what have you done? Possibly the most entertaining build, but also certainly not the ideal one, as Clem takes the most decisive match of the series. And with it, the entire series. 3-2 for Team Liquid's Clem. But what a ride it was. Wow. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully it made your day just a little bit better. A significant portion of it. What a finals. Dark continues to be Dark, and Clem continues to be just unflappable as a micro Terran. But it's over. Oh my god. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. If you got the means, motivation, also check out Patreon. If you haven't yet, check the 2nd channel where some streaming VODs are going now on top of playthroughs of other stuff as well. If you'd like to check it out, we're promoting that now. Also, well, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.